Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus Channel. What happens to large ships once they reach the end of their service life? There are various places they may end up in, but one place is a ship dismantling facility. One such place is Gadani Beach, Pakistan. The container ship G Harmony has arrived at its ultimate destination. This Panamanian-flagged cargo ship, which was built about 20 years ago, spent decades moving cargo between ports in the Arabian Sea region. Before being decommissioned due to aged infrastructure and economic concerns. The 189-meter-long and 28-meter-wide G Harmony was an essential component of international commerce. When maintenance expenses surpass operational value, modern maritime corporations usually retire vessels after 20 to 30 years. Before reaching Gadani Anchorage in January 2024, G Harmony's last commercial voyage came to an end when it was sold to breakers for $515 per ton in December 2023. Pakistan's largest shipbreaking facility is located in the Balochistan province's Gadani Beach. It ranks third in the world, behind India's Alang and Bangladesh's Chittagong yards. Over 6,000 people are employed by this 10-kilometer stretch of shoreline, which processes 100 to 125 vessels a year. By recycling almost 1 million tons of steel a year, Gadani's operations provide a substantial contribution to Pakistan's steel sector. From the 1970s, Gadani has been a lucrative destination for end-of-life vessels due to its wide beaches, favorable tidal conditions, and lax environmental restrictions. G Harmony must stay stable during braking operations after beaching during high tide. Massive anchor chains fastened to concrete blocks buried deep in the shore are used by workers to secure the ship. Extra steel cables are stretched from the ship to sizable winches that are situated on shore. For extra stability, heavy equipment operators build earthen berms around parts of the hull. This is especially crucial during the monsoon season, when choppy waves may cause partially disassembled sections to refloat. First, braking workers use acetylene torches to carve entrance holes, creating access points. Initial sweeps are carried out by safety inspectors to find potentially dangerous items and structural flaws. As the old power systems are demolished, workers install temporary generator-powered lighting systems and improvised staircases. During deconstruction operations, specialized crews remove any leftover gasoline, oils, and toxic items that could endanger public health or safety. Inside G Harmony, employees carefully devalue everything. For independent processing, teams remove machinery, wiring, piping, electronics, and navigational equipment. As high-value products, engine room components are given extra consideration. Workers use simple equipment like hammers, wrenches, and cutting torches while working in challenging environments with little ventilation, intense heat, and cramped quarters. The top-down method of interior disassembly maintains structural integrity while methodically eliminating salvageable parts. Crews use cutting torches to remove cranes, winches, hatches, and railings from the deck. Larger components can be moved with the help of heavy equipment like smaller cranes on trucks. Workers sort items by type and value while dismantling deck machinery, lifeboats, and communications equipment. Scrap taken from G-Harmony is transported to shore in a number of ways. Smaller objects are delivered by hand or by means of improvised zip lines that are strung between the coast and the ship. In order to move bigger objects across the beach, workers fasten steel cables to onshore winch devices. The steel hull is cut into manageable sections, each weighing several tons, using acetylene torches to cut predefined patterns. Gravity can help when supporting structures are strategically weakened. When done correctly, these parts tumble to the beach below. Large portions are processed further after they are on the ground. These components are separated into smaller, transportable units that weigh 1 to 2 tons each by teams using cutting torches. For easier cutting and transportation, workers physically hammer bent metal flat. G-Harmony produces almost nothing that is wasted. About 85% of the ship's mass is made up of high-grade steel, which is sent to re-rolling mills to be used as construction rebar and other fundamental building materials. Copper and brass are examples of non-ferrous metals that fetch high prices and find their way into certain recycling streams. Wood paneling and furnishings are introduced into regional construction sectors, while machinery parts are resurrected in Pakistan's secondary markets. Midlife transition of U.S. Navy aircraft carriers is comparable to that of G-Harmony, which neared the end of its life in Gadani. About 25 years into their 50-year service life, nuclear-powered carriers must undergo a crucial procedure called refueling and complex overhaul, ARCO. replacing depleted nuclear fuel, updating crew facilities, improving combat systems, and overhauling propulsion components are all part of this enormous endeavor. ARCO basically rebuilds these massive warships, prolonging their operational capability for decades and ensuring they remain technologically relevant against changing threats. This process takes 3 to 4 years and costs billions of dollars.
Right from the start, we knew that delivering CVN 72 in 42.5 months was going to be a challenge. Based on the history of RCOH and based on the size of our work package, one of the most significant measurements is man hours. We have over 23 million man hours on this RCOH. The ship performs 2 million man hours worth of work, and then we have additional work performed by Navy contractors.
Preparing an aircraft carrier for dry docking requires careful planning months in advance of arrival. Installing specialized dock blocks, the vital structures that will hold the carrier's hull, allows teams to change enormous concrete basins called dry docks. In accordance with the particular requirements of each vessel, shipbuilders install temporary utilities such as sewage lines, ventilation, electronic systems, and river water piping. In place of slower tripod-mounted equipment, modern preparation uses handheld laser scanners to map components across the building. Containment mechanisms shield delicate equipment from water incursion during the multi-year refurbishment process. On May 6, 2021, USS John C. Stennis arrived at Newport News Shipbuilding for its midlife transformation following 25 years of service. From Naval Station Norfolk, tugs cautiously navigated the enormous 100,000-ton Nimitz-class carrier down the James River. To move such a large vessel, it must be carefully navigated through tiny passages and then precisely positioned over submerged support blocks in Dry Dock 11. Water was drained out when it was secured, allowing the carrier to settle onto its specially made foundation blocks. Sponsons are essential hull extensions that protrude from the main structure along the flight deck perimeter during aircraft carrier ARCO. Important ship systems, such as defensive weapon emplacements, aviation support machinery, and firefighting apparatus, are housed in these dedicated compartments. Because sponson units must endure harsh maritime conditions while retaining their waterproof integrity, they require careful engineering throughout overhaul. These portions are entirely rebuilt by Shipyard personnel, who also strengthen structural supports, replace corroded steel, and update interior systems. A groundbreaking mast installation, the first ever finished as a single-piece component, was given to the CVN 74 during ARCO. This cutting-edge structure, which rises 123 feet above the flight deck, contains vital radar systems, navigational aids, and communications arrays. Improved engineering enabled shipbuilders to lift this large component in a single operation, greatly cutting down on installation time compared to the previous requirement for numerous section installations for carrier masts. Numerous other ARCO improvements, including nuclear refueling, hull preservation, combat systems overhaul, and propulsion plant repair, were concurrent with this upgrading. Sea trials, the crucial stage where ships demonstrate their seaworthiness prior to rejoining the fleet, are the result of shipbuilding or overhaul operations. Thousands of integrated systems, including propulsion, navigation, communications, and combat capabilities, are put to the test under realistic circumstances during these lengthy underway periods. Engineers keep an eye on equipment performance, diagnose new problems, and confirm that the specifications are being followed. This rigorous testing program shows that the ship can safely carry out its planned mission while validating operational systems, crew proficiency, and hull integrity. Ships like Mighty Servant III establish floating dry docks anywhere at sea, whereas aircraft carriers go through ARCO at dedicated dry docks. By purposefully filling their ballast tanks, these amazing heavy-lift semi-submersibles sink beneath damaged ships or offshore structures. Once positioned, they rise to lift massive loads, even entire warships. After maritime accidents such as the 2017 incident with the USS John S. McCain, damaged warships frequently need special transportation. These vessels, which are unable to sail on their own, must go through a convoluted process where the transport vessel partially submerges in order to board heavy-lift ships like the MV Treasure. The USS Cole was unable to return home on her own after a catastrophic terrorist attack in Yemen. As a floating transport platform, the Norwegian heavy-lift ship Blue Marlin partially sank to lay beneath the disabled destroyer, and then rose to the surface to hoist the damaged warship out of the ocean for the lengthy return trip to American shipyards. Managing and repairing large vessels is an enormous undertaking. From dismantling old commercial vessels to renewing modern aircraft carriers, it can take years. The means by which this is accomplished is awe-inspiring to watch. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.